Watch Landline Now every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, along with an encore presentation weekdays at noon, right here on tncradio.live.
And welcome in tncradio.live. We're live on a Wednesday night, April the 26th, 2023. So happy to have you with us here on the Taillights with the Baums. And now here's your host, Angie Baum.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We're so glad to have you. I have got some repeat friends on the show tonight. I have Lisa and Candace, and we're doing kind of a different show tonight. I know normally we do stories from truck drivers, but tonight we're going to kind of center around truckers' wives, because even though I'm a trucker's wife too. And so we figured it'd be a good show just to talk about truckers' wives. So Lisa, I guess we'll start with you if you want to come in and introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself.
I am Lisa Schroet, and I have been married to my husband for 25 years. We are owner-operators. I spend half the time in the truck and half the time at home.
Working your tushy off.
That's after today. Yes. It's one of those days where your husband hands something to you and says, this is what I need. And then you have to scramble to get what he needs. So yes.
I'm sure a lot of truckers.
Which is busier, working at home or working on the truck?
I think working at home, just because you're trying to juggle so many things at once. Loads and your house and your kids and the business and personal and the honey-do list, that I have a honey-to-do list too, just like they do. So I think sometimes I'm actually busier at home than he is.
I can see that. I could definitely see that. Candace, you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about you?
Absolutely. I am Candace. I am not as deep into the trucker wife as these ladies. We're only working on our 5th year together, but I am full-time on the truck. We team drove for a while, and I got diagnosed with grade 3 brain cancer, and I have seizures, so I can't be left alone. So I became a full-time rider, full-time aggravator.
I love that. Now, I was going to ask you, because you guys have 2 different situations. So I guess I'll ask Candace first. Candace, you're like me, where you're on the truck 24/7 with them, and you've been out. Tips or tricks, because we've said in the past, being together 24/7 on the truck is not that easy. Do you have any tips or tricks for wives that are thinking about going down the road or are currently on the road with their significant other?
I think that, like, I know it's like, this is a small little box to be enclosed in, and I have no problem going to the back and closing the curtain just to get away. And it took me a while to get to that point, because I was like, man, if I get up and I go to the back, he's going to think I'm mad, or he's going to think I just don't want to be with him, or whatever may be the case. And actually that, it helps us a lot just to like separate. But I do like crossword puzzles. I've done some crocheting. I actually picked up a little side gig where on TikTok I have a makeup gig that I do on TikTok. I just found little things to keep me busy so that we're not always back and forth with each other, or I'm not aggravating him. So just keep yourself busy.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, we're having
because even though you are together 24/7.
We lost you for just a second there, Angie. Say again. Are you with us, Angie?
Are you there, sir?
There you are. Yeah. Just having a little connection details to the issues tonight.
Sorry about that, guys. Him sometimes, and sometimes you're not. So, what is your advice to Trucker's wife on having a long marriage like you've had?
Oh, me? Oh my gosh. We I don't know. I think that, we've been together on the truck for long periods of time, and we've been with me home and with him on the truck. I think that I would give women advice to listen, give space, do that. I can't hear you. I'm losing you. And then, give yourself a 5-minute timeout. You need a lot of trust if you're going to be away from your partner for so long. But I think that you have to know what you signed up for. And I think that's any trucker's wife or trucker's spouse or anything. You have to be prepared for being alone, for doing things on your own, and for fixing your own problems.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Now, I was only a trucker's wife for about a year before I became a trucker. So I always say I can relate to both sides of the coin because, what's your tip for, like, Lisa, example for you, when you get to those point where you're missing him? Like for me, I had to keep myself busy and occupied so I didn't think about him.
When we, in the beginning, it's not that I didn't miss him. I just kept myself so busy. We had the 2 kids. I had an antique furniture store. So I was doing 3 or 4 auctions a week, taking care of the kids, booking our loads, doing our business. So I made it to where I didn't have a lot of time to miss him. It's worse. It's not the same now that our kids are grown. I sold my furniture antique store. It's just me and the dogs at home. So it's a little bit harder. I do miss him sometimes, but find yourself some amazing friends. I have Candace and Angie. We talk all the time. You need to have that outlet to other people you can talk to besides just isolating yourself at home. But find things you enjoy. Find things that make you happy. That is what the key is to not driving him crazy when he's on the road.
And another thing, we've mentioned too, is we always recommend to truckers' wives to go out there and do a run or 2 with your significant other, whether it's a husband or whatever, so you can understand the road. What do you ladies think about that?
I think
Candace.
that's an excellent idea. I think it just prepares you for what you're getting into. And I think it allows you to see a little bit into their life before you commit to that full-time, I'm going to be a trucker spouse, because I'm not going to lie. When I spent some time at home as well before I came out, and it was hard. And you, like Lisa said, you have to have a lot of trust, because, this persona, so to say, has been painted on truckers. So they go out and do this and do that. And I think just having that trust and doing a run or 2 is, I would highly recommend that.
I don't think you prepare yourself for being in that truck. When you go with your husband when you're at home and you're talking to him on the phone and he's complaining about traffic and parking and not finding a place to eat and the shippers and the receivers and all of this, you just think he's just being a whiner. It's not that bad. But then when you actually go, it's like you almost go into his world and it's like, wait a minute, this sucks.
It really doesn't. I think it's a good eye opener because, we listen to him on the phone, but you don't really understand all the stress and everything that they have to deal with and what it's really like to operate a truck until you're out there with them. And I think it's such an eye-opening experience and a really good one. we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about, for our truckers' wives and the ones that maybe want to go out there on the road with them, some things we kind of recommend definitely to pack and take on the road with you, because I know a lot of truckers' wives aren't prepared for what to bring out there. So we're gonna share some of our secrets. So we'll be taking a break here and just be back in a few minutes. You're listening to Taillights with the Baums.
TNCRadio.live, your commercial driver navigation station.
We're all about the news, information, entertainment, talk radio, music, comedy, and topics truckers want to hear.
I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly. We're talking with retired NASA engineer Homer Hickam, who's the author of Rocket Boys, which inspired the movie October Sky.
We're talking with Alex Debogorski. He's one of the original stars of Ice Road Truckers.
Chip Davis of Mannheim Steamroller.
Music icon and Grammy Award-winning country artist Lee Greenwood.
We're speaking with racing legend Mario Andretti.
Michael Martin Murphy is a legend on the music scene with wonderful ballads and hits like Wildfire and Cowboy Logic. Curtis Grimes.
Michael McDowell, the 2021 Daytona 500 winner.
Our guest this afternoon is Tom Bodett. You know the name, you know the voice.
The Carolina Monkey Gouger, Jimmy Artis. Today we have the honor of speaking again with Long Haul Paul. Today we have Claire Dunn and Logan Mize with us. Stay tuned and stay safe with TNCRadio.live.
Hey drivers, did you hear music on TNCRadio.live that you really liked? Or maybe you heard us interview an author of a book you'd like to read or listen to. You can get the books, music, and other products you hear about by going to our website at www.tncradio.live and clicking on the shopping cart.
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Taillights with the Baums, and tonight we've got my good friends Lisa and Candace. And I did want to mention that right after the show, we're going to be live on TikTok doing some cooking on the semi-truck. So if you have TikTok, be sure to come over and watch us. We're going to be live on 32 Truckers a Day. So we got a couple truckers that are going to be cooking some great things tonight, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we have tacos being cooked on the truck.
Yum. It'll be interesting because a lot of people I don't think ever think about truckers cooking on the truck.
Yeah, and there's so many, all these new gadgets that they've come out with. I know, like, we have an air fryer and an Instapot, and we have our microwave, we have a Keurig. Like, it's just so many gadgets that are truck easy to use.
And I think that it's healthy. It's a healthy alternative. Truck stop foods have gotten extremely worse over the years since we've lost so many mom and pop restaurants, that these alternatives to cooking in your truck, you can have almost a gourmet meal in your truck versus spending $20 at Burger King to get a hamburger and fry.
And I think COVID really saw a surge in truckers cooking in their truck, because when all the restaurants were shut down and we were out here on the roads, truckers were having to come up with. And then you started seeing all these, Facebook groups popping up with, here's how we're cooking on the road tonight, and here's some recipes. And all of a sudden, people were sharing their Instapot recipes and crockpot recipes, and it was really fun. But I think COVID had a lot to do with our,
I think so too, Angie. I think that when COVID hit, because I was actually on the road with my husband all through COVID, and there was a lot of restaurants that were closed. A lot of the fast food, they had the drive-through open, but the inside wasn't open, and you couldn't walk through the drive-through. So it kind of hindered on, we can't eat out anymore. We have to think of what we're going to do to feed ourselves in this truck when we're on the road.
Definitely.
What is the one appliance do you think that you ladies cannot live without on your truck?
Keurig.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm going to say, that's what I was going to say, because, if I'm not all but hooked to an IV of coffee in the mornings, I'm just a grizzly bear.
Oh, me too.
I think that is the most important thing for women in the truck is a Keurig.
Yeah, I always say don't
And it's
talk to me
super
until I've had my
convenient.
coffee. Yes. Now we were talking before the break about, some things that truckers' wives or girlfriends or whoever might be going out in the truck should pack with them, because a lot of times, the guys know what to bring out here, but sometimes the girls are just like lost. I actually had a trucker's girlfriend call me. She was going out on the truck for the first time with her boyfriend, and she's like, what do I need to pack? And so I was giving her a list, but I know some of my must have was, I told her, trial size everything, just because when you're trying to haul stuff in and out of the truck stops to take showers, and as women we have so much that the trial size stuff, it doesn't weigh as much and it doesn't take up so much space in your truck. And then the other option is like dry shampoo, because you can't get showers all the time. And I would say like the body wash wipes that they have is another option. What are some things that you ladies would recommend?
I would definitely recommend the body wipes, baby wipes. You cannot have enough baby wipes in your truck. Medications, as far as any kind of cold pills, anything like that when you go to the truck stop, you're going to pay way more for, and they might not even have what you need at the time. Another thing I found is we don't always get to use the restroom as much as we'd like to. And sometimes we might get a little UTI or something on the truck. So I always recommend women put azo pills in their truck. Very important for a woman to have those in their truck, because you're not going to find them at the truck stop and you may need them someday.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
I think the thing that I found that I missed, not really that I missed the most, but that I wanted to have extra of, was shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. Because you go in Walmart and you get a bottle, and if you run out, you go into like Pilot or Love's or TA and you get just their little teeny bottle, and you could have literally bought 2 bottles at Walmart for the same price.
Oh, exactly.
And I think that, just like Candace said, you can never be too prepared in the truck. I always tell people this. We always bring extra dog food. We always bring extra water. Anything that we might need, we will bring. We might not ever use it, but at least we have it. Because if you can't stop at a truck stop, or you stop at a smaller truck stop, they might not have anything you need.
Yeah, and like you said, especially if you're with someone who travels cross country, you're going to be going through, maybe going through higher elevations, lower elevations. That messes with your sinuses. And then you're going to be going from climate to climate too. So it's always good to have whatever medication, just in case, because like Lisa said, a lot of times either you can't find it or you're paying double or triple the price that you could have paid at Walmart.
I have a medicine bag that probably weighs 20 pounds. My husband says I'm a little over prepared, but you know what? Anytime he says, do you have? And I'm like, yes, I have. So,
me too. Me too.
I always tell him it's better to be over prepared than under prepared.
Yes.
You never know when you're going to go. Like Angie said, you're doing different climates. You might be in sunny Arizona and the next day you're in a snowstorm, and you might get snowed in for 2 or 3 days. And so I always make sure we have water, canned goods, and stuff like that. So if we do get snowed in, I can still have a can of SpaghettiOs or raviolis, or make a bag of popcorn, or we have extra water. We have snacks. We have all of that stuff in our truck. So we're not going to go hungry, snowed in for 2 days.
Yeah, when we got stuck up in Wyoming this winter, we were down for 3 days because the roads were icy, and there was 3 or 4 trucks there that had no provisions on their truck whatsoever, and we were feeding them because they had nothing. And I'm like, let this be a lesson to you guys. Always carry ramen noodles or canned goods or something.
Just something. I tell Scott, he's like, well, whenever I go with him, he's like, oh my gosh, we have to pack 12,000 items. Yes, you do. I actually had him build me extra shelves in the truck for my stuff. But I always want to be prepared. And when you first go on that truck, you're not prepared. You have no clue what you're in for.
This is Heath saying.
No, and I think the other thing, as far as women too, is, they can't stop as often, like you said, to use the restroom and use the facility, to always, making sure that you have some type of backup on there. I know Lisa said Scott runs hard. He doesn't like to stop. And most truckers are like that. So just making sure that you have some type of provision that, if you have to go to the bathroom, you're able to. And you could go on Google and Google that, and there's all kinds of tips out there of what to do.
Absolutely.
There is. And no, my husband doesn't stop. He's like full focus, go. And for me, that just doesn't always work. So I do have to improvise sometimes. And I think a lot of people think, oh my God, that's sick. And it's like, it's a way of life when you're a truck driver. So prepare yourself for it's not sunshine and roses in that truck. You are going to need to do some compromising.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the name of the game when it comes to trucking, is learning how to compromise. And another thing we should bring up too is, if you're not used to the over the road life, everything is completely different than probably what you're used to. But I would say another good tip is, when truck stops and rest areas, always keep your head up, keep your head on a swivel. You need to always be watching other trucks, because they drive like maniacs in the truck stop. And you need to be watching your surroundings too, just to make sure that you're safe. Because too often we see women with their noses in their phones and they don't pay attention to their surroundings.
Definitely.
I agree with that. One tip I always tell women is, before you get out of that truck, take off your jewelry. I do. Unless my husband's with me, I'm not going to wear my rings or my earrings or my necklace in anywhere that I go. I don't want to have that attention brought to me that there's something shiny on my hand. Because we do go to some places that are not as savory as some other places.
Yeah, unfortunately, that seems to be that's where a lot of the truck stops are, as unsavory locations. We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, I thought we'd talk about, that subject of, when husbands and wives or boyfriends or girlfriends, when we don't get along on the road, and the loneliness that creeps in, even when you are with your partner out here on the road. So we'll discuss all that when we come back. You are listening to Taillights with the Baums.
Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Cortman, and now for the Mental Health Minute. Are you a control freak? I asked you that in the first part. And I also explained how control is not only a good thing, but it's necessary if you're going to live a happy and successful life. So when is control a bad thing? Very simply put, control is bad when you attempt to control other people. Control is bad when you attempt to control things that don't belong to you. The weather, the traffic, the stock market, and other people. You're not called a control freak just because you keep your closet in order. You're called a control freak because you try to keep somebody else's life in order. Think about it. You're out of bounds when you're trying to get people to vote like you do, or to believe like you do, or just to live the life that you want them to live. Unless they're your children and you need to teach them important things, try not to control the lives of other people. Instead, look in the mirror and do a good job controlling your own life. In this next video, we're going to talk about why do people become control freaks and what do they get out of it.
Be sure to listen to Building Strong Minds with Dr. Chris, Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, right here on tncradio.live.
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Taillights with the Baums. So, as you guys may know, because we had Lisa and Candace on here a couple weeks ago, we are part of a great organization called 32 Truckers a Day. And I did want, we'll let Candace talk on this one. Candace, you want to tell everybody about what's going on Friday night? We got something kind of fun going on for the truckers. And then, Lisa, I'm going to pan over to you next, and you can tell everybody about our Sunday chat as well.
Yeah, so Friday we had a couple drivers ask, and we actually had talked about it also. Just a fun night to where, truckers and their families could come in, laugh, giggle, unwind. So we thought, okay, how about a game night? So Friday at 7 Central, we're going to play Guess That Movie, and we're going to do old trucking movies. So we'll just read out a line, and you guess that movie, and the person with the most points after an hour is going to win a $25 gift card.
I think that's going to be so much fun. And it's a great way for truckers, especially nowadays with all the stress we know everybody's under, just to kind of let loose just for an hour and just have some fun.
Definitely. And we'll play different games each night or each Friday. I think we had talked about some playing the newlyweds, but not really with newlyweds, with truckers, obviously. And I think we had talked about maybe name that song, just different fun games to just really to get your mind off of whatever's going on, unwind for the week, and enjoy some laughs. Laughter does the heart very much good.
One of the ones we do in the mornings is geography trivia, talking about what's in which state and things you ought to see and all that, but making it into kind of a fun game. We have fun doing that in the mornings.
Oh, that would be fun.
That sounds
too.
Interesting. Yeah.
Be like,
yeah,
where
we
is
might
the
have to
biggest,
squeeze that one in.
Where is the biggest yard of biggest rocking chair in the world?
Right.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That kind of stuff. Yep. And so it kind of gives the drivers not only the fun of the trivia stuff, which, by the way, recently that all went to court, and it's not the U.S. Supreme Court, but one of the higher courts said you can't copyright trivia. So you can use whatever you want to use as long as it's true.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
So, because, I mean, okay, the biggest rocking chair in the world, even if you're reading that out of a book and then the next thing is also out of the same book and the next thing on the page, you can't copyright that because facts are facts, and you can't say, well, because I put facts in this order in trivia, that makes it mine. No, you can do whatever you want to from TikTok, radio, whatever.
Sweet.
Absolutely. And then Sunday, we got something pretty cool. By the way, for you guys to follow the game on Friday to join us, it's going to be on TikTok under our 32 Truckers a Day account. It'll be live chat. So if you guys are familiar with TikTok, up at the top, it shows you who's live. Just search out 32 Truckers a Day and come in and join us. And then Sunday, we also have a live chat going on. You want to talk about that, Lisa?
Yeah, I think Sunday we're going to focus more on, we're going to get more serious with loneliness on the road, how you handle being lonely on the road, how do you handle being away from your spouse, your significant other on the road, coping mechanisms, and how you kind of feel about being away from each other.
Which is a hard one. I think that was so hard for me when Larry and I first got together because we were newlyweds and I wasn't familiar with trucking life, but the loneliness I think is a hard one on both aspects for the trucker and the wife at home who's got to, handle the kids and the household and the bills and everything. I think that'll be a really good chat. And that one's at 2 p.m. Central. Again, it's on our 32 Truckers a Day on TikTok.
Correct.
I think that's going to be a blast. We're trying to do a lot of really cool things on 32 Truckers a Day just to help truckers take the mind off stuff that's going out there on the roads and just kind of, have a laugh here or there or talk about their frustrations. Is there anything you ladies wanted to talk about that we're kind of working on coming up?
Candace has got some amazing news for some things that we've been doing for our shower bags.
Oh,
We've been busy little bees. We actually, so we're going to start doing our shower bags where we hand out little shower bags with kind of some necessities like a shower bomb, shampoo, conditioner, stuff like that. Toothbrush, toothpaste, disposable shower shoes. And we actually just heard back, and Dude Wipes will be sending us some items to put in there, as well as Road Pro will be sending us some items that we can put in the bags. And they even said that they would love to be tagged in our videos so that they could see all the smiles.
That's so cool.
And then we had one more too. Who was the other one?
Nine Line Apparel will be sending grab bags.
And they're a veteran apparel company, right?
Correct.
Correct.
And, we had a lot of people question us on where we came up with 32 truckers a day. And we had to go back to high school algebra. And we had to go to 5 or 6 websites and pull statistics and pull numbers and divide and add and because there are no that we could find. And maybe Tom, you could point us in a different direction. We could not find the exact statistics on truck drivers that take their own lives. We had to go to how many hold a CDL, how many I mean, it was quite the task to come up with a number.
And that's just sad in itself.
The two places you would want to look for trucking related info like that would be Statistia and Etri.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the Etri people, you can just kind of call them directly. Statistia, they're going to try to get money out of you, maybe. But if you told them what you were doing and why, they'd probably just give you the information. Etri, of course, is all about doing research in the trucking industry. That's their whole existence. And I would bet dollars to donuts, if they haven't worked this up, they would love to have the excuse to go work it up.
Yeah.
Well, some of the statistics we found were like 2016, 2014. And we ended up going to, where did we go to? The CDC, and we had to go to CDL Life and
U.S. Census.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was quite I think we were on the phone a couple hours going to all these different websites, writing down all these numbers, figuring out how many people were CDL holders, how many were over the road. I mean, and it came up to be 31.84.
85.
Yeah. That's too high.
And we all know we can't have a 0.85 of a person.
I know. How did they come up with some of these numbers? We should also.
I'm not sure.
We should also explain before we go to break real quick. The reason that we came up with the idea of the shower bags was because we were talking about sometimes when a trucker or a trucker's wife, whoever's on the road, gets to feeling down or depressed, the one thing that we have found that makes us feel a lot better as far as like in our head space is when we can get a nice shower, because we know as truckers, we can't always take a shower every day like everybody else at home. Sometimes it may be 2 or 3 days. So we came up with the idea of the shower bags and putting a gift card in there to help pay for their shower and giving them stuff that'll make them feel good, because that's one of the things, as truckers and truckers' wives, that a shower can just completely make you feel better and change your whole mental outthink. You just feel a lot better when you get out of the shower.
Definitely.
Girl, I can go from The Exorcist to Mary Poppins in a matter of seconds after I've taken a shower. I mean, it's just that instant.
When it gets to day 3 for me and I haven't had a shower, God help anybody in the truck with me, because it's not good. But the minute I get that shower, I am sunshine and roses. Let me tell you.
I am too.
Yes.
I am. I'm amazing. I'm like Mary Poppins flying with her little umbrella from place to place. I can light up a room then.
Yeah, it's just crazy. As something as simple as a shower will just make you feel so much better. We're gonna take another break, and when we come back, we'll finish talking with Lisa and Candace from 32 Truckers a Day. You are listening to Taillights with the Baums.
Industry movement Trucking Moves America Forward is telling the story of the industry. Our safety champions, the women of trucking, independent contractors, the next generation of truckers, and more. Help us promote the best of our industry. Share your story and what you love about trucking. Share images of a moment you're proud of. And join us on social media. Learn more at truckingmovesamerica.com.
It's Landline Now, followed by Steve Summers' Overnight Drive every night on TNCRadio.live starting at 11 p.m. Eastern and 10 p.m. Central.
Trucking Moves America Forward, or TMAF, is boosting the image of the industry by telling the story of trucking, and your story can be part of it. Upload a photo, tell us what you love about trucking, or send us a story about a good deed or charitable act in trucking. Be sure to follow us on social media and contact us through truckingmovesamerica.com. That's truckingmovesamerica.com.
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Taillights with the Baums. And I want to remind everybody that coming up next, we have Anderson and Banker with Clutch Time Sports. So please be sure to stick around. Those guys always have an awesome show. And tomorrow night, the guys are going to have a special show at 7 p.m. Central, where they're going to be talking all about the NFL draft. It's going to be Anderson, Banker, Tom Kelly, and my hubby, Larry. So please be sure to join in and listen to that, because it's going to be all about football, and the draft. So we've been talking with Lisa and Candace, and so I just kind of wanted to touch base with you guys. Excuse me. So we had talked a little bit about how, if a wife has not been out with her husband before on the truck, or, one of the things that they have to understand is they have to be very flexible, because things change so much in the trucking industry on a daily basis. Lisa, what would be your advice as far as, having to be flexible?
Don't make plans. That's really terrible to say, but sometimes in the trucking industry, it is absolutely true. I don't know how many times I have made plans with my husband to do something, or we were going to have dinner plans with friends, and he would call and say, well, my load got canceled, or I'm behind, or it's taking longer to load than I thought. So a lot of times with us, it's more of a spur of the moment. So he'll call and say, hey, I'll be home at 6:00. And it's like, well, I'll be ready at 6:45. So, and then plan on getting a very good recording device. I cannot say this enough. It's sad, but they will miss birthdays, and they will miss concerts, and they will miss basketball games. And a lot of times, if you videotape that for them, they can or FaceTime, something that they can still see that or be part of that when they can't be there.
Absolutely. And I think the other big thing is, as hard as it is to say, I know it's easier to say than when you're in the heat of the moment. When those plans get canceled, as hard as it is, realize that it's just part of the trucking industry. Because I know a lot of times the wives get so mad at their husbands, like, how could you let this happen? And oftentimes they don't have any control over it. And I'm sure they'd much rather be there for that, birthday party or whatever.
Well, I don't know. I think my husband used to plan on being out for Christmas concerts because they took 4 hours. So he would call me and say, sorry, I got a load.
That's pretty funny. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you just got to be, that's the bad thing about trucking. There's going to be those holidays they're going to miss, and there's going to be those birthdays and those events. And, they may plan on coming home on a Saturday night to stay for a couple days, and then their plans get changed at the last minute. So you just gotta be able to roll with it. It's part of the marriage or the relationship, and it's not easy.
Well, and I think, Candace, you still have younger children that you're home for?
I do. And, we, like you guys said, we miss a lot. And, I mean, my son is in a military school and he just got color guard. I mean, there's so many events, but, my mom's so great with FaceTime or sending pictures but it's still not the same. A part of you, it makes you feel like, you're missing out on them growing up. And I feel like, I swear they grow 20 inches in the time that we're gone. But I definitely agree, a good recording device, so that, they can see those things, because sometimes those are just things that they want to be there for, but they can't. And some things, like you said, are out of their control. I know one of the hardest times for my husband was he was in Arizona and his mom passed away in West Virginia, and he didn't get to say that goodbye to her. And he still has a hard time. And that was 3 days after Christmas. So he missed Christmas. He wasn't home for that. And, and then he missed that goodbye. And he still has a really, really hard time with that.
Oh, that's awful.
I think that what we did, we planned holidays around my husband. And sometimes that's what you have to do. If you can't have Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day, you have Thanksgiving 4 days later when they're home.
Absolutely.
Same with Christmas.
Hey guys,
same with Easter.
We're going to get ready to close out the show so Anderson and Banker can get on here. But thank you so much for being here with me again. We'll definitely have Lisa and Candace back on the show, and we'll be back here next Wednesday. Thank you so much for listening to the show. We'll see you guys next week. You've been listening to Taillights with the Baums.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Do you have the TNCRadio.live app? It's free and easy to download. Just go to app.tncradio.live, Google Play, or the App Store. Get access to live streaming radio developed by drivers for drivers. Download the TNCRadio.live app today.
Don't forget, you can hear all of our TNC Radio primetime shows again on our podcasts. Just go to tncradio.live/podcasts or search for tncradio.live wherever you listen to podcasts.